Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you all for beautiful Kirtan. I was going to ask someone to do Jai Radha Madhava, and Samanvi, you did. Thank you so much. Otherwise, I was going to do it.
They are all prepared, Prabhu.
It looks like they're all prepared. They are prepared well in advance for a week of Ramanavami celebration.
Yeah.
That is also nice. Good. Okay. Om Ajnanam Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militamena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadhamayam Tadanti Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakalam Kamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagarjatam Sahana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padhan Sahana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhavevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. We are in the section where Rukmini is going to get married. All preparation have been arranged by her father Bhishmaka and especially by her older brother Rukmi. Bhishmaka didn't have much choice or to say anything against his son Rukmi because he was also very much attached to his son. Because of that attachment, he had to forgo or give up his own wishes and choices that he had. Sometimes we also get into situations where we are put into a situation where get attached to certain things, even though we have people around us who can give us advices, but still we seem to be inclined towards going with the option of what our mind says, which is due to our attachment to the things. Vidyate hradayat kantihi chityante sarva samsayaha. It is said in the Upanishads, also in the Bhagavatam, that our heart is hard knot with so many attachments that we have. Father, mother, brother, sister, children, husband, wife, many things, as we have many relationships. Therefore, how are we going to deal, especially when it comes to subject matter of what is the right thing to take up and do it? There's nothing we have to worry about, because that is why Bhagavad Gita has been spoken to us, where Our situation is no different from Arjuna's situation. Arjuna was going through the same thing of attachment to his family members, which is why he didn't want to take an action. But then he had Krishna side by who gave him good advices, and he was able to transform himself. But the same question comes where, well, just the good advices will change our heart, or is there anything else as a factor which is required to change our heart? Because we do see Ravana had Vibhishana who gave very good advices, but then he didn't accept that advice. In the case of recent thing that we saw, life of Dhritarashtra, where he also got good advices, where Akrura came and gave good advices. Vidura also going to give going to give advices, but then nothing went into his ears. So is that means advice is less value, has less value? Is there any other factor that's involved for us to change, see the change in our heart? Why didn't Dhritarashtra change after hearing so many good advices? He had people like Bhishma, Drona, Vidura, and many people were there, including Krishna himself. But then still his attachment was not changed. So how do we deal with this such situation? There's a big difference between Dhritarashtra and people like Dhritarashtra. One thing have to be there, which was missing in Dhritarashtra, is that even though he had good people around him, but the attachment was still there. That's because mainly he was missing a main factor, which we are all holding to. We are also attached to many things, but then there is one positive thing within us, which is going to save us and make us slowly and gradually detach from what we are attached to. And that is very powerful. And that is not applied or practiced by Dhritarashtra. Can anyone guess what that one thing that we all have and we are all practicing, which Dhritarashtra did not do? Any thought?
Devotional service, Prabhuji.
Devotional service. Samanvi, you're so beautiful, wonderful. In anything else? Any other point? That is a good answer, in fact. Any other points in addition to that? The change of heart was not there in Dhritarashtra. But we are also attached, but we are struggling between that and this. But we know what is right. And we are going to get to that point. What is that helps us and did not practiced by Dhritarashtra, which was a problem?
Prabhuji,
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Is it constant listening?
This is exactly what it is. Constant listening is one thing. Very true. So you got your answer. So the answers are always within us. It is not a joke, serious. We just have to provoke that, channel it in a right way where we can get the answer. So one main thing that we are all practicing is a constant Shravanam and now you know the second one.
Kirtanam, Prabhuji.
Kirtanam. Constant Shravanam and constant Kirtanam will keep us sailing in this Krishna consciousness, in the spiritual journey. So therefore, that is why we are wanting to make sure we hear regularly, we hear daily, we chant daily. Right? As we continue doing this, our attachment will reduce and our attachment towards Krishna will increase and our detachment will happen automatically. We don't even have to strive for that. You can just talk to many of our devotees who became devotees, how they were before, including myself, and how we are after. We didn't even put any effort. It's not boasting ourselves. I'm just telling the practical example. Didn't even put any effort on the negative things. Only focus on the positive thing of hearing and chanting. And wonders happened. automatically all those things just went away or going away, not went away. I wouldn't say everything is gone, right? We are all still here struggling. So things are moving away from us. We can experience that. But that is not present in Dhritarashtra. And that is not in Ravana, Hiranyakashipu. Even though Hiranyakashipu himself had a son who was a great son, Bhakta. But what happened? Nothing went in him. Because he was not ready to listen. He was not ready to hear. He was not ready to chant. But we are fortunate to come to this platform of hearing and chanting. Does that answer your question, Kiranji?
Definitely. Thank you very much.
Okay. So Kiranji, just the background, Kiranji has posted a question in our thing. So I was just, it is so related also here. So I thought it just connect it before we get started with our regular thing. So Rukmini was constantly hearing Krishna's beauty, Krishna's quality. That is how she got attracted. She's never seen Krishna in WhatsApp and Facebook, Twitter. He never seen Krishna, to be frank, right? But then she got attracted just by hearing alone, and constantly was just chanting Krishna, speaking about Krishna. That's how she was attracted to Krishna. Therefore, that is what is going to help us, how to get connected to Krishna. When we get bored of hearing, when we get bored of chanting, that means there is serious problem in us. We have to really watch out if we have done any offenses to any devotees. When we commit any offense to devotees, the first thing get impacted is hearing and chanting. Krishna will withdraw his mercy by just taking that taste from us. So we have to be very, very careful on this thing of not to offend any devotees. Otherwise, we are the loser. So we got to be careful how we deal with devotees. We don't want to do that because Krishna will take away our services, takes away our chanting, taste in chanting and hearing also. We get bored. Oh, same thing we are hearing, same thing I have to chant. Why can't I chant Hare Krishna in a different tone? I mean, different mantra, make it into a different mantra. Om Hare Krishna, Om Hare Rama, something like that. We'll just start inventing mantras also because it's been boring for us. That means we have done something wrong in our services, in our devotion services. So Rukmini was getting ready. She was dressed up very nicely. And then as she was getting ready, but she was feeling internally a great pain that its time is catching up and the marriage is going to be happening, but Krishna has not arrived yet, and the Brahmana whom I sent has not come back yet. So she was really in anxiety. Oh, another important point is, what about stress? We were just talking about this last night, Ashok Prabhu and myself, stress and anxiety and all these things. It is true, it is very pain to have stress and anxiety, but guess what? Having stress for Krishna, having stress for anxiety is not bad. Many stories that we study in Bhagavatam is full of anxiety. We didn't get a chance to converse the other side of spiritual stress and spiritual anxiety. But if you talk about spiritual stress and anxiety, it's so blissful. Even to have stress spiritually, even to have anxiety spiritually, it just elevates one. The anxiety of how gopis were going through, right? If you take the gopis to a psychiatric, they will tell, you better take a course of medicines. You're in anxiety, gopi, Radharani, you're too much in anxiety and stress, which may lead into depression, right? But guess what? In spiritual world, stress, anxiety, depression are the height of love for Krishna. Height of love for Krishna. And that is what has been exhibited by all the great devotees, right? So we have to get out of the anxiety of material plane and move our anxieties and stress and other things into Krishna. And there's nothing wrong. And by having those stress and anxiety, guess what? It is just, you will be amazed. By having a stress, anxiety on material thing will kill us eventually, gradually. But having stress and anxiety for Krishna will elevate us. We are not going to have any sort of discomforts because it's all transcendental, is spiritual. There's no problem in having those things on a spiritual platform. Right? And that is what Rukmini is going through. Rukmini is going through a great anxiety, perspiration, and the body is just going through some sort of variation because of thinking that is Krishna going to come or is not going to come. Right? So she was getting ready at the same time she was just thinking herself, am I an unfortunate being? All the gods have withdrawn their mercy upon me. Lord Shiva, Lord Parvati, have they withdrawn their mercy on me? She was just in a constant anxiety, thinking about what's going to happen. Her eyes were filled with tears, remembering Krishna. Even though she has not seen Krishna, she could know that how Krishna will look like because she heard so much about Krishna. So the girl was ready. As the girl was ready, Rukmini was ready. They were chanting. The mantras were chanted by Brahmanas. The wives of Brahmanas, they all came to Rukmini and got her walking towards out to go to the Girija, Mother Parvati's temple. And then at that point of time, before that, she heard the news that Krishna has arrived. Krishna has arrived. At the same time, the Brahmana whom she sent, he came to the inner chamber of Rukmini with a smiling face, right? With a great smiling face, almost touching his both ears, big smile. Have you ever tried smiling, laughing, where your your lips touches your ears, both ends? Can you smile? This much? It goes to this extent? Can anyone smile like that? Ha ha ha, no, Rukmini, you can't pull your lips like that. Naturally, can you smile such a way that your mouth is touching both ends of your ears? That means what? So joyful, right? So joyful. You can only imagine. That means no one can smile like that. But the expression is that he was so very happy seeing him back with a smiling face. Rukmini could guess what has happened. She was also so very joyful. She was joyful. As soon as the Brahmana came, she bowed down to him. Goddess of fortune, bowed down to a Brahmana, a living entity, right? And at the same time over there, the king, our father, learned that Krishna and Balaram has arrived, and he was happy that Krishna and Balaram personally arrived to attend his daughter's marriage. He don't know what's going to happen, but then he was so happy because he has affection, love towards Krishna. So as soon as Krishna and Balaram came, he invited them, gave them proper respect, whatever gifts need to be given, right? Usually we have a practice of we give gift only when we leave the home, right? But the tradition you can see here, as soon as Krishna and Balaram arrived, he worshipped them very nicely, hospitality. Not only that, he also gave a gift. And also while going, one gives gift, right? So he was very generous. King was so very generous. He accommodated the Lord. And then he also took care of all the people who came along with Krishna and Balaram, all the army, everyone. He took care of them very nicely, honored them very nicely. And then as days were going, as the time was passing, then Rukmini was getting ready to leave. At the same time, the people who saw Krishna, they started speaking. Look at him. Who else can be a right match other than Krishna for Rukmini, right? No one can be a perfect match than Krishna. They are made for each other. They are made for each other, right? So they were talking all these different things, but then Rukmini was walking towards the temple of Ambika. Ambika, whose name is Ambika? Anyone knows? Kids?
Parvati Mata.
Parvati or Durga?
Yeah, Mihir, very good. Rukmini, both of you said nicely. So it is Parvati Mata's another name is Ambika. She went to the temple and then she started praying to the Lord. She was praying to the Lord. That she was just offering her whatever articles she needs to offer. She was offering everything, and then she was saying, "Namaste, Namaste, 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 Namasye, Namasye, Twa Ambika Abhikshanam, Swa Santana Yuktam Shivam, Bhuyat, Patir me Bhagavan, Krishnas Tat Anumodatam, Bhuyat Patir me Bhagavan, Bhuyat Patir me Bhagavan." She prayed to Mother Parvati, saying that, "My dear Mother Ambika, wife of Lord Shiva, I've repeatedly offered my obeisances unto you, together with your children, who our family members are, right? May Lord Krishna become my husband. Please grant this." Right? So there's no wrong in worshipping any gods, any devatas, right? But the purpose should be so that they can help us to connect to Krishna. That should be the worship. When we go to the, if at all we go to any devatas alaya, mandir, temple, Ganesha, Durga, or any gods that for that matter, our idea should be to worship. Let me, please connect me to my Father, Supreme Father Krishna. That should be the worship. Like how we studied Katyayani Vrata by gopis did. That is also, they did just because they want to get married to Krishna, have Krishna as their husband. In that way, one can go and worship to the devatas. But otherwise, just going to them and asking for material gains is not at all recommended. So Rukmini worshipped the goddess of fortune, goddess Parvati, with water, scents, grains, incense, some clothes, garlands, necklace, jewelry, and many different types of articles. She did, and she also lit the lamp over there, and the Brahmanas were chanting the mantras very nicely. And then after offering is done, they gave the prasad to Rukmini, and Rukmini respectfully honored the prasad. It's a little prasad, by the way. It's not a full-fledged ISKCON Sunday feast prasad. Little bit. That is why whenever we get some devotees, some people come to our temple, when we say prasad, they think that we are going to give badam, a couple of badams or something. But then we'll be shocked when they say this is what the prasad, and give a full-fledged sabji, sweet, rice, dal, and many other things, right? They say, Prabhu, you said you're going, sir, you said you're going to give prasadam. You're giving this food. We say that this is what prasadam we give, right? So, and then the princess, she, after doing all the things, she paid her obeisances, and she was appearing. There are a number of slokas which says how she was appearing. Her appearance was, Rukmini appeared as enchanting as the Lord's energy, potency. She was sober, grave, and she was captive. She was being captivated by many other great kings because of her beauty. Because of the slokas explains her features very nicely. We'll not get into all those details here, but it says she was looking so beautiful. Her smile was so sweet, and her teeth were like a jasmine bud, so clear and nice, white in color. Yeah. Her lips was like bimba red lips, like a bimba red. It's like a reddish fruit, like a bimba fruit. And as she was walking, her aroma, the fragrance came from her body, was captivating many people. She didn't apply any, by the way, she did not apply any scent. Naturally, she had that fragrance in her body, right? But if we do, we go out, we better apply something and go, right? Otherwise, it smells. But if you take regularly twice bath every day, you don't need to apply anything. Seeing her, many heroes were totally bewildered. They lost their heart towards her. They were all thinking that she's made for them. Some of them said they're not qualified to get married to Rukmini because she's so beautiful. And many people are thinking she's made for Krishna alone. She's Krishna's property. And as she was moving, it was like a royal swan moving. How it moves, like a royal swan, she was moving. Let's not you let if we try to walk like a swan, it looks horrible, right? Sometime what they call in Bhagavatam, it never says catwalk, right? In the beauty competition, they have this style of walking called catwalk. They take one foot and feet and put it on the front of the another one and place another one. They walk like this, like this, like this, like this, like this, something like that, right? But then in Bhagavatam, there's never any sloka which says she was walking, doing a catwalk. No, it was like a royal swan. Swan likes, without very mild, nicely, so beautifully. So when we see swan next time, then you have to remember Rukmini Devi, right? When we go and to the ponds or some places, when we see swan, you have to remember that. Rukmini displayed her beauty. Why did Rukmini display her beauty like this? That is only for Krishna, not for other people, right? So she's made for Krishna. She dressed up for Krishna. She was for Krishna. So as she was walking nicely, and in a distance, her eyes caught hold of someone, Krishna. She saw Krishna right there. At that moment, she saw Krishna. And then her eyes just freezed. She couldn't make any movements because after seeing Krishna, what can you do, right? She was just seeing Krishna. And then at the time, what Krishna did is quite interesting. When Rukmini saw Krishna, Krishna saw Rukmini, immediately Krishna grabbed Rukmini's hand, and then lifted her, putting his another hand on her back, and then just lifted her and placed her on the chariot. No one expected this will happen. The people around there were just couldn't believe what's going on here. For a moment, he lifted the princess on the chariot, whose flag was marked with. Does anyone know what Krishna's flag is marked with? What is Arjuna's flag? Arjuna's chariot. Arjuna's chariot had a flag, right? What was, yes, Rukmini?
Hanuman.
Hanuman. Is it right, Mahati?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you for confirming that. So, but what was Krishna's chariot having?
Garuda.
Very good. Garuda, emblem of Garuda. So Madhava's name is, Krishna's name is Madhava. As soon as he got Rukmini on his chariot, drove back, circle of king. He just made a round to show them, boo boo, boo boo. You fool the people, right? Like that, he didn't do that one, by the way. He just went around these kings, led by Balarama, and he just made an exit. He didn't run or anything. He just slowly exited that whole area. And then the king who were inimical, who did not like, headed by Jarasandha. You all know Jarasandha, right? We saw a story before. He's still alive. Yes. So Jarasandha. Yeah, Jarasandha could not tolerate this humiliation that happened over there.
Prabhuji.
Yeah.
How about the good king Rukmini's father? Was he happy?
Yeah, he's always happy. He was happy that this happened, in fact. It doesn't say over here, but we all know, right? So the kings were not happy about, the other kings were not happy, whoever came there for the marriage ceremony. They were not happy, especially Jarasandha, because he had a lot of people, his friends over there, all bad guys. So he said, damn, how dare he can do this one. Let's go catch him and punish him. Just like an animal might steal the honor of a lion, like a jackal steals the honor of a lion, right? This is what Rukmini said in the letter to Krishna. Right? How the meal that is to be offered to lion is being stolen by jackal. The same thing is said here by Jarasandha. He is saying the other way around now. Now Krishna, he said Krishna is like a jackal. He is stealing the meal that is going to be offered to a lion, the king, great king, right? How dare he can do this one? So he was talking like this, and then he was getting ready to go and catch hold of Krishna and bring Rukmini back. He was with his army. He got ready. He was just going towards. He got into the chariot with elephants and horses, chariots, and many soldiers with weapon. He loaded everything. I was getting ready to go fight with Krishna, and Rukmini was on the chariot. She was just a little worried with fearful eyes. Krishna smiled. Can anyone smile like Krishna? I see Richisa. Can you smile like Krishna, Richisa? Can you smile like Richis Krishna? How can you smile? Can you smile and show me?
Yeah.
Smile. Like that? Very nice.
No.
Anyone else here can smile like Krishna? Yes, Rukmini? That's how Krishna smiles? Oh, Mihir, can you do it?
I think this is how he smiles.
Okay, Mihir, thank you. That's how he smiles? Okay, very good. So yeah, Krishna smiled so beautifully. And then he looked at Rukmini and said, do not be afraid, beautiful eyed one. See how nicely Krishna is speaking to Rukmini. This enemy force is about to be destroyed by your soldiers. Rukmini didn't have any soldiers. And Krishna says, all these enemies will be destroyed by your soldiers. That means what? She's already made as a queen of Dwaraka. When she is made a queen of Dwaraka, everything that belongs to Krishna belongs to Rukmini. Therefore, he said, your enemy, your soldiers will take care of all these people. Don't worry about it. And then as they were saying, the fight started. A big fight started. Many people around there the opponent, they were lying without fingers, legs, and some of them did not have head. Body was just lying down, right? It was like the whole place was like, bloodshed, with so many people killed over there. And then even Jarasandha could not, as usual, he tried already 17 times he tried, he couldn't win Krishna. This time also he was completely discouraged. He could not fight and get Rukmini back. So he also disappointed and left the battlefield. He left the battlefield. And he went back to Shishupal. Shishupal over there was sitting like this. Oh God, what's going on? Right. So he was also like that. So he was disappointed. He went to Shishupal, and then he started speaking to Shishupal. Jarasandha said these things. Bhu bhuho purusha sardula dhaurmanasya idam tyaja. He said, na priya apriyo rajan nishta dehisha drishyate. He started speaking Bhagavad Gita. Can you imagine Jarasandha speaking Bhagavad Gita? Have you ever thought about that? Can even Jarasandha speak the message that's told in Bhagavad Gita? He's speaking here to Shishupal. Let's hear what he's saying. He says, Shishupal, O tiger among men, give up your depression. After all, embodied beings, happiness and unhappiness is never seen to be permanent. Sukha dukkhe same kritva labha labho jaya jayahu. Krishna says, matras parasras to konteya sitosna sukha dukkadha. Krishna says these things. See winter and summer as balanced. Right? Don't get too much disturbed with happiness and distress because they are not permanent. They comes and go. We all thought the spring is already here, but then a couple of days back it was freezing. I heard it was also snowing to some extent, right? In St. Louis. So we were happy thinking spring is here, but then we were changed back to winter within a couple of days. Now it's again sunny out there, right? So this is going to keep on happening, but they're not permanent. They come and go. Therefore, Sishupala, don't be worried about what has happened. Happiness comes and happiness goes. Problem comes, problems will go. Just as a puppet, here's another beautiful thing he says, just as a puppet in the form of a woman dances by the desire of the puppeteer, so this world controlled by the Supreme Lord struggles in both happiness and misery. How the puppeteer, right? The puppeteer means the person who does puppet show. He has the threads in his hand, right? Like this. I think you're all seeing like a ghost hands, my hand. Is it right? Without ghost hand. Maybe I have to keep my hands away from the camera. Okay, however it is. Anyway, so with the threads in his hand, he just makes a puppet show like this, like this, like this. Like that, we are all puppets in the hands of God. We don't have any control. He makes us dance. He makes us do whatever he wants us to do. We have no choice. We are not the controller. We are not the cause. We are not the doer. We are just puppets. This is all words of Jarasandha. In battle with Krishna, Shishupal, don't get upset. I battled with Krishna 17 times with full-fledged army, but I was defeated. I still did not give up. So don't give up your enthusiasm. Don't give up yourself. The world will, but still, I never lamented, right? And then he goes on, says that now our enemies have conquered. Now Krishna is our enemy. He conquered. But it is not going to be the case all the time. Today he is the winner. Tomorrow we will be the winner. So like that he spoke. And then after hearing this very, very nice advices, Shishupal felt little okay. He felt okay. And then quietly, Shishupal went back to his kingdom, and all respective kings, they all went back to their kingdom, including Jarasandha. He also left. Yes, Rukmini?
He's telling Bhagavad Gita, but he's telling it in a bad way to make more bad stuff.
You really got a point here, because when we get good advices from Bhagavad Gita, we can use for good purpose. Also, you can use in a bad way, right? He is speaking like as if he's speaking good words, but actually he's using everything in wrong sense. You got it. Very good, Rukmini. Thank you. Everyone went back to their respective places. But one person was still not happy, very angry, very agitated. He wanted to do something. Guess whose that is?
Rukmi, Prabhuji.
Very good, Bhavya. Rukmi. You could not control, could not bear what has happened. So he got ready. He said, I am not going to leave that guy. I'm going to punish him. I will not return back home here until I take revenge and bring back Rukmini. I will not come back to this place again. He made a promise. And having said that, he drove the horse quickly towards where Krishna was. He took his army, everyone, and he went there. But then he went there, and then he's told to Krishna. He said to Krishna, this is what he says, really heavy words. He says that, just stand and fight with me, you coward boy. You're running away. How dare you can do this to me? You're taking my sister and running away? If you have courage, face me, stand and face me. And then he was talking like this. Wherever you go, I will not leave you. Carrying off my sister like a crow stealing a sacrificial butter. I will follow you. This very day, I shall relieve you of your false pride. You fool, you deceiver, you cheater. That he was calling all these different things. Release the girl before you die. Before you die, please, better you release the girl and I will let you go. And as he was talking all these great, great words, Krishna didn't even bother, right? He didn't even bother. He took his arrow and started shooting at Rukmi, and Rukmi's arrow got broken into pieces. And he took another arrow. Krishna aimed another arrow on his bow, and that bow also got broken. And then slowly his chariot was gone. Everything was gone. And then Rukmi had a sword. He took a sword and started charging running towards Krishna to chop Krishna, kill Krishna. As he was running with the sword like this, Krishna took another arrow and shot on the sword, and the sword broke into two pieces. Top. And then Krishna came with a sword, caught hold of Rukmi, and then ready to chop his head off from his body. At that time, he was ready to chop. Rukmini fell at the feet of Krishna and said these things. What did she say? Look at here. He said, smilingly, she said, my dear Lord, please, O controller of all mystic power, immeasurable one, Lord of lords, master of the universe, O all auspicious and mighty armed one, please do not kill my brother. You know, this is all something techniques we all have to know. If you want to get your work done, then you have better praise that person to make that thing happen. You go and tell someone, don't do this one. Then person says, who are you to tell me? But then if you say, sir, you know what, let's take Ananda. Ananda, can you hear me? Okay, Ananda, I want you to do something. Okay, say Ananda, can you come and move this table from here to that place? I'm going to tell you this one. You said, Lal, just don't trouble me, don't bother me. I'm doing something. I'm playing with my sister. Don't bother me. Now I'm going to come and tell you, Ananda, you're such a wonderful brother. You are such a wonderful boy. You are so helping. You have a helping nature. You're so kind. I never seen a person like you. Can you please move this table from this place to that place? And what will you do? Of course, I can do that. Right? Of course, I can do that. So, but Rukmini was not like us, trying to use a word jugglery to get work done. That's not our intention. She was talking the truth. So she was telling, Aprameyatma, Yogeshwara Aprameyatma, Deva Deva Jagatpate, Hantum Har Hasis Kalyana, Brataram me, Moha Bhuja. He said, my dear Lord, you are the controller of everyone. You are immeasurable one. You are Lord of all lords, master of the universe. You are auspicious one. No one is equal to you. Please do not kill my brother. Please do not kill my brother. She was telling, like crying and telling, requesting to Krishna. And then Krishna saw Rukmini. This is the first thing that she is ever asking after she came with, marriage has not happened yet, but assuming she's married to Krishna in this way. So she said, this is the first thing ever his wife is asking, right? And then what is he going to do? He said, no. He said, no problem. I will leave him. But we have to punish him in some way or the other. So what did he do? Krishna shaved half of Rukmi's head and half of Rukmi's mustache. How does he look like? Have you ever tried this hairstyle? Well, and nowadays I can't say anything. If I say half of the hair is gone shaved, in those days it's a great insult. Nowadays, that is a fashion, man.
Yeah, I watched that in a movie, and one girl had half head shaved in like that.
Yeah, that's a fashion now. But those days, it's as good as killing that person. Better to kill that person rather doing this one, right? The king is shaved off of his head, off of his mustache, and let him go. That means that's as good as killing him, right? So Krishna, this is what Krishna did for the Rukmi. And Rukmi became ferocious. He became so very angry. But what can he do? He couldn't do anything. He shamefully left the place. Balaram was watching all this thing. He came to Krishna and said to Krishna that, Krishna, what have you done? Rukmi is now our relative. He is your wife's brother. How can you do to someone who's related to you? What you did is not at all correct. And then again he advised to Krishna, Balaram was advising to Krishna, a relative should not be killed, even if there's wrongdoing. He has done some wrongdoing. He should not be killed. Maybe he can be disconnected, given up from the family membership, meaning from a family, but not to be slain, not to be killed. And then Balaram turned towards Rukmini, and he was balancing between Krishna and Rukmini. Then Balaram turned towards Rukmini and he said, the code of sacred duty of a warrior established by Lord Brahma enjoins that even if one is related, even if one is a brother, one can be killed if they are against the law. See how Balaram is balancing between Rukmini and his brother Krishna. So he was talking all those different things, giving advices to Krishna and also giving advices to Rukmini, and more towards Rukmini, saying that one should not be too much attached to people like this. If the people are like this, one should try to be detached from those people. That's what Balaram was advising to Rukmini. And then Rukmini and Krishna, after that, they let Rukmi go. Rukmi went away with angry mood. And Balarama, after instructing them, they all walked towards their kingdom. Over there, when everyone saw Rukmini there, and the citizens of Dwaraka, they saw Rukmini, they were amazed and they said, this is perfect match made for each other. And then the marriage ceremony was arranged and both of them got married in a Vedic style. Even though Krishna kidnapped Rukmini from Vidarbha Desha, after coming here, he took his blessings from his father and mother, and a proper Vedic ceremony was arranged where Krishna and Rukmini got married officially. Rukmini Dwaraka Desh ki jai. So they got married, the marriage happened, the whole people were happy and enjoyed. After some time, they got a first child. Rukmini got a first child. Does anyone know what the child's name is?
Pradyumna Prabhuji.
Pradyumna. Yes, Pradyumna was his name. Pradyumna was born. He was no less than Krishna. But Krishna's son, can you imagine how he's going to be? As handsome as Krishna and as great as Krishna himself. So he was born, but something happened. He was just 10-year-old baby. Pradyumna was just 10-year-old baby. There was a demon, Shambhara. His name was Shambhara. He was told that he will be killed by the son, the first son of Krishna. So he knows that he's going to be killed by the son who is going to be born from Rukmini. So he was waiting for the moment. Then he knew the baby was born. Shambhara came without anyone being noticed. He stole the baby. He was just 10 days since birth. Didn't even celebrate any functions, birthday party or anything. He just picked Pradyumna, went to the close by ocean and threw the baby into the ocean. And there was a huge fish, a big size fish. It just swallowed Pradyumna, the baby. 10 days, not 10 months, 10 days old baby. He just swallowed the baby. And there were some fishermen. They were all there. As they were fishing, they got this particular fish. And this fish was transported to the kingdom, the place of Shambhara. Shambhara, right? So it was in the kitchen. So those people who were there, they had the butcher knife, the special knife they have. They cut the fish into half. And to their surprise, what they saw was a baby came out of the fish. Human baby. It just dropped out of the fish. They got really wondering, what? Never seen a human from the fish. Has anyone of you tried? You're all vegetarian. You wouldn't have tried cutting the fish anyway. But we never heard this one, right? But by cutting, they got a baby out of the belly of the fish. And immediately those people who cut the fish, they took the baby, and there was another person by name was Mayavati. She's so pretty looking girl. She was appointed in the kitchen to make some specific preparation for Shambhara, the demon. But she's very saintly, very nice person. But she's been working, the young girl, she has been working there. The baby was given to this person called Mayavati, right? Mayavati took this child. As soon as she took the child, she felt some sort of attraction towards this baby, some sort of natural connection to this baby. And she was thinking who this could be. Now the background is that Mayavati, the girl Mayavati, is none other than Rati. Rati is wife of Kamadeva. Kamadeva is another demigod. Kamadeva and Rati are two husband and wife. They have their special service to do in society. So they're also a Devata. So for some reason, Rati now been appointed here as Mayavati over here. And that Kama Devata is what has now born as Pradyumna. Pradyumna, son of Krishna. Now, but she was just thinking that who could this baby be? I am feeling so attraction, somewhat a different types of attraction. When you see a baby, when you hold a baby, you don't feel any other emotions other than this is a baby, cute looking baby. But her emotions were totally different altogether. She was feeling, why am I getting a different feeling seeing a baby? She was feeling that this baby maybe my husband. How can a baby be an husband? As she was just thinking and glancing at the baby, but the baby was resembling like Krishna at the same time, how Krishna was looking earlier. And the baby grew very fast. It did not wait for a long time, like how we have to go through, you have to take the baby when baby is born, you have to do a ear testing, you have to do a nose testing, you have to do your eye testing, then you have to do what is it, vaccination of certain after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, and baby grows, eating the infant drinks and milk and all those different things. Pradyumna did not wait for all those things. Soon he grew up. He became a youth. And the Mayavati, she approached Pradyumna, and she was showing some sort of expressions and some sort of different types of things. And then Pradyumna saying, why are you behaving like this to me? I was a baby. How can you treat me differently? And then she didn't have much words to say. At the time, she said, Rati, she's Rati, right? Rati said, you are none other than my husband. You were born here as a service to Krishna. Therefore, we are husband and wives. And I'm going to tell you a technique by which you can kill Shambhara. And then what she does is she teaches him a special mantras, special techniques. And then with that knowledge, Pradyumna goes to fight Shambhara. And Shambhara was ready, and there was a big battle between both of them. It's a huge fight. And finally, Pradyumna was able to chop off the demon's head. It dropped from his body, and the demon was dead. And Pradyumna, along with Rati, returned back to Dwaraka. When Rukmini saw Pradyumna, she's seeing Pradyumna for the first time after the birth, after a long time. She said she also had a natural affection, motherly affection towards Pradyumna. And then everything was told to Mother Rukmini and Krishna, who knows everything. Then they all had a nice time over there in Dwaraka. That finishes chapter 55. The next story that we are going to see is Shamantaka Jwal. Another beautiful story. How Krishna is being blamed as a thief for stealing a stone called Shamantaka money. How Krishna rectifies the bad name that he got. That's going to be another very, very interesting story that we are going to see in our next Saturday. And then Krishna gets married, another marriage happens, 5 princes. Who are the 5 princes that he's going to get married? And then comes killing of Narakasura. A lot of beautiful, wonderful stories are going to come. Please stay tuned. Any questions or discussions? We'll stop here to open for any discussions. Yes, Rukmini?
The homework.
Yeah, thanks for reminding the homework. We'll come back to that. Bhavya?
Prabhuji, Pradyumna was in the fish's mouth. How could he survive, like in the when the fish was captured by the sailors? How could he even like survive inside the belly of fish when the fish was dead and something like that?
Yeah, very simple. We are scientifically you're thinking, but he is not an ordinary person, right? He's a spiritual person. Therefore, he was able to survive. The yogis, how can the yogis all can stay inside the water, right? They have that power. Like that, Pradyumna is not an ordinary child, he is Krishna's child. Therefore, no problem. You can ask the same question. How can a baby survive inside its mother's womb? Right? If a baby can survive in mother's womb, why can't the baby survive in fish's belly? I'm not telling it's equal to equal. There's a lot of difference there, of course. But I'm just giving a thing for you to understand here. If we get into the belly of the whale or a shark, we are not going to come out after we've been cut. We'll be dead. But this baby is a special baby. Okay, Bhavya?
Okay, Prabhuji.
What question you have, Rukmini? We are only taking questions right now.
Okay. No, I don't have a question.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Yes, Srinivas.
So I thought the Brahman came and met back with Rukmini, but you didn't say that Brahmana never came back.
No, I did say.
Oh, I missed it. Sorry.
Yeah, I did say the Brahmana came with us. I did so much expression with a smiling face.
Yeah,
and all.
sorry.
I did almost.
I missed it, Prabhu. Okay.
All right. Okay.
Thanks.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for your wonderful explanation of these pastimes. Prabhuji, I have like 2 questions. One is related to this class and another one is related to your Bhagavad Gita thread. So do you want me to ask the Bhagavad Gita thread question in the Srimad Bhagavatam Google form or can I ask here?
1 second, you just reminded something. Someone was, Akshara is not here. Okay, maybe I can, she was asking the meaning of the 4 horses. So I did find research and found the meaning in the dictionary that a Shaibia means the fast running horse. It's a fast running, fastest horse. Sugriva, I told already, which has a beautiful neck. Mega Pushpa is a rare one. And then the Balahaka is one who can defeat who has a lot of strength, who can defeat any warriors, any opponents. Balahaka. I just want to add this one because you reminded me last class, so I just remembered. Go ahead with your Bhagavatam question, Mataji.
Yeah, so like this is just a simple clarification. So like Krishna married Rukmini, like two types of marriages took place, right? One is like Rakshasa when he kidnapped, and another one is like the Vedic style marriage when he properly married her.
Yes. First, he kidnapped her in a Rakshasa style, but then he did an official marriage with the Brahmanas, keeping the Brahmanas and everyone. There was a Gandharva style of marriage, Rakshasa marriage, Asura type of marriage, Manushya style of marriage, Devata type of marriage.
So
So
the
different types.
official,
Gandharva marriage is nothing but love marriage in our language.
yeah. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to confirm that. And another one I have related to your Bhagavad Gita thread. I don't know whether I should ask this thing here.
You can, hopefully everyone can relate to it. If you can ask your
She should
question.
ask.
Okay.
But yeah.
Oh, should I? Okay.
The order has come from Ashok Prabhu. Please go for it.
Yes, please.
Yeah, no, I can give some context like for the other devotees. So the thing is that Prabhuji is discussing the complexities of doership. Who is the doer? Is it the Jivatma who is the doer, or the Paramatma who is the doer? So we kind of like came to a conclusion philosophically and theoretically that both the Jivatmas and Paramatmas are doers. I don't know if I'm saying it right or not. So yeah, we came to this conclusion, and today we have started. I mean, Prabhuji has started with a great story, very interesting story. So I have one question regarding like today's thread. So in that lecture, Prabhuji mentioned that the Karanam and the Karyam both should be traced in one entity. It should be with like the same person, like the cause and the effect. You translated Karanam as the cause and the Karyam as the effect, and you mentioned that the cause and effect should be the same person. I just want a little bit elaboration on that, and specifically in the context of Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, and Adi Atmika miseries. For example, like for Adi Bhautika misery, we understand that misery is an effect, but it is caused by some other living entity, some other persons. So the cause and effect we cannot find in like one entity. And the Adidaivika also we find, I'm sorry I'm asking, I just wanted to clarify this thing. So for Adidaivika also, like we find like the cause is somewhere like by the demigods or like natural disaster. So how should we connect this thing, and how should we connect these dots? Thank you. And if I have asked any wrong question, forgive
No,
me.
it's a perfect question. I can either answer now, or you can wait for the story to get completed. At the end of the story, the same question will be asked by the mother. So for those who are not listening to the Bhagavad Gita daily recording, I'll just give a quick background for this. Otherwise, none of us going to understand this one or the question. So we are talking about a story from Mahabharata, where a mother and a son living together, but the son has been bitten by a snake. Now mother is miserably going through some emotional things, but then the hunter who was watching all this thing is upset what has happened. Therefore, he goes and ties or coils and ties of the snake to punish the snake. Now, there are many things going to happen in the story. Many characters are going to come into the story. But at the end, what's going to happen is the hunter is going to be completely convinced what has happened is perfectly correct, perfectly right. Okay, but he will still have one question left. That is exactly what Priya Mataji, your question is now, but in a different way. Now the hunter is going to ask the mother that, I understand why the boy was bitten by the snake, but why are you crying? Why are you suffering? Because he's your son, but why are you suffering? That means your effect is cause of the cause of the effect of your suffering is your son. Therefore, the cause is not with you. Your son is the cause for your suffering. That means cause is in a different place, effect is in a different place. It is not in the same place. That does make sense to your question now? That's what we are discussing, right, Priya Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So the son is the cause of your suffering. Therefore, you are miserably crying and worrying. Hunter is asking, someone's karma is cause of your suffering. And the answer that the Gautami, the mother says is beautiful. She says, no, cause is myself, effect is mine. My son was just an instrument for my cause to come into effect. It is my karma. Because of my karma, I have to cry and suffer. And someone has to be an instrument for that karma to come into effect. Who was the cause? My son was my son was an instrument, not a cause. My son was an instrument for my cause of past karma to be effective. Therefore, cause and effect is mine, not my son's. Adi Bhautika, Adi Devika, whatever you can name it, they are just instrument for our karma to get executed. Make sense, Mataji?
That makes sense, Prabhuji. Thank you.
So there's literally a simple answer is this. At the end of the stories, which is going to go for another 2-3 days, is this one. You got the answer. Answer is simple. Any problems that we are going through, any happiness we are going through, none of them are cause of it. I myself the cause of it. I'm just reaping what I sowed. And I'm doing this not by itself. It's not an automatic program. It is overseen by Krishna. God is overseeing and making sure my karma is getting executed. For that reason, he gives all the different instruments and tools and many things to happen in our life. So our karma can be executed. It could be natural calamities. It could be a living person, or it could be my own mind could cause me problems, put me into stress and anxieties and things like we discussed earlier. But Krishna makes sure we pay for it through some means or the other. So cause and effect is always with us. No other person is going to be cause of our suffering. They're just instruments.
Thank you,
Person
Prabhuji, for this explanation. Yeah, Hare
Yeah.
Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. You broke the secret that I was holding for.
You have to shorten the story now, Prabhu. No, keep going with the story. It's nice.
Thank you. Thank you for asking that question, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Anyone else? Any corrections, comments, feedback? Okay, what about the assignment that I gave last week? How many of you have written the letter to Krishna? Has anyone written letter to Krishna? Meher, did you were not present last 2 class, but still you went and wrote?
Yeah.
Can you read your letter for us, please? We'll just take 5 more minutes, Ashok Prabhu, and we'll close.
Okay. I did read the letter, but I can't find it. But I do know what I wrote.
Maybe the letter is gone with the Brahmana to Dwaraka. He must have taken it already. Okay, Rukmini, your hands are raised. Have you written?
Yes.
Okay, you want to read it out for us?
I'm going to give it to the Brahmana another day.
Oh my God, that means you didn't write? Very smart way of telling.
Actually, I wrote, but I'm going to give it to the Brahmana another day. So it says, chubby cheeks, dimpled chin, bimba lips, eyes are black, lovely too. Mother Yashoda's pet. Who is that? Lord Krishna, of course. So it's kind, K for kind, R for remarkable, I for intelligent, S for sweet, H for humorous,
Oh my
N
God, very
for,
nice so far.
N for naughty, A for adorable. And it's written to Krishna. Lovely.
Is this letter written by you or someone else? Did you write?
Yeah.
That is really amazing. Very nice. Thank you so much. Very thoughtful. Who has written? Who else has written here? Oh, Bhavya, you have?
Prabhuji, I started writing it, but it's like not completed yet.
You have so much to write. Maybe you can share next week if possible, if you're completed by next week. Okay, so we still have other kids who have not done yet, looks like. So you can all still work that as an assignment. Whoever has have done, complete your assignment. We can go through that next week. Okay, that's going to be an assignment.
And you are the Brahmana, right? They could give it to you.
I'm not. I'm a Shudra.
No, they have to give it to Brahmana.
That could be you. I'm a Shudra.
All right, Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So there's an announcement that there's a drama on the Ram Navami occasion next Sunday at the ISKCON temple. So Narayan Prabhu is looking at people to volunteer or participate in that drama. It's going to be in person, it's not on Zoom. So 1 or 2 practices are probably necessary. So if you wish to participate, please give Narayan Prabhu, or you could send me your name, I can pass it to him. Thank you very much.
Basically, Narayan Prabhu is looking for some people who can like to do drama, right, Prabhu? Act in drama. Okay. Please contact Narayan Prabhu, or if you don't have his contact, let us know. Everyone knows Narayana. He's very famous. Supreme Lord. Next to his next, right? Next to famous person, next to Narayana himself. Okay. Ashay Prabhu, thank you.